morning, everybody.
Sup, sup.
Sup, 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 sup. Happy Sunday.
Yeah, how is everybody?
We made it. We are here. It is Sunday.
I just went for my very nervous poo. It's always got to just drop a couple of little funky nuggets before we start. It's
And how does that make you? You feel better?
Relieved? Yeah, it's certainly fucking better than doing it during. I've got one of those mesh chairs and it just squeezes through. Like, do you remember that?
I thought you were going to say you've got a nappy on then.
No, well, I might go for that next time, but it's like one of those plasticine toys where you squeeze it and the hair comes out like noodles.
Oh, Ronald. Too much graphic information this time on a Sunday morning. Wow. Josh is due to join us shortly. He's been called out to a job, so he's currently playing Fireman Sam, or as he says, unless he's gone to some really early hen party. I don't know.
Sunday morning sex. I got a flyer for dogging in his local area. He's a liar.
Well, yeah. Anyway.
Well, that's a nice mug.
It is. This is the one I was talking to you about earlier. This is from Mr. John Wright. He gave me this at Aquarate when we met up. Yeah. I've not got all the fish on here, but we have got the copper band and the yellow tang in my tank. So yes. Shout out, John. We'll say hello to you in a minute. So I know you're in the chat. But yeah, it's great.
Very nice.
Very nice. But I don't know about you, but we've got a thing in our house where we collect mugs.
Oh, does everybody not collect mugs?
I've got more. We've got more mugs in the cupboard than I've got corals.
It's ridiculous. I totally agree. We've got a mug cupboard.
Yeah, we have pretty much. Yeah, we have pretty much. And there's certain mugs in there that I must have got some serious sentimental value with my missus, because all the print has been eroded from the dishwasher, but yet they still get used. So there's just some mugs that have just got some random speckly sort of picture on there. You ain't got a clue what it's like. One of those, those old. You can remember the pictures you used to have to stare at for long enough, and the picture would just appear. It's like those. Magic Eye, that's it. Magic Eye mugs we've got.
Yeah, mine's. Anyway. Let me see. Mine is Jimmy Savile.
Oh, okay. Any particular reason why you came up with that name, or no link?
Got it from Jim Will Fix It.
Okay.
Yep. I'm not going to tell you what you fixed for me, but there you go.
Okay. There we go. Anyway. Right. Let's jump in and say good morning to people. I know you've already said morning to some people, Ron. Thanks for that. So we've got, like I say, the one and only, the legend, Mr. Wright is in the house.
Yeah, Johnny Boy. Never met you, but I'm going to call you Johnny Boy.
That's it. Call him Johnny Boy. Leroy. Morning, buddy. Hope you're well. Thanks again for yesterday, mate. Appreciate your help. He's my Apex go-to.
Was nobody else available?
No, nobody else picked up.
Only jokingly of you.
We've also got UK 120 in the house. Morning to you, UK 120. Rama, thanks for joining us, mate. Hope you're well.
Hey, Rama.
Yes.
I want to call him Banana.
Rama the Banana.
No, Banana Rama. Fuck's sake, Tom. Sorry.
It's too early. We're only 5 minutes in, and if this is what it's going to be like for the rest of the show, then I need to get
later.
Hey, I've got to hope this camera stays on, because this pass-through battery has not turned up yet. So
we burned through 2% in shenanigans post-recording.
Yes. So if I just randomly disappear, it's all on you, because my spare camera's at my office, because I used it for a Zoom. In fact, no, tell a lie. The monitor, this monitor's got a really crap inbuilt camera, so it might actually make me look prettier. So we can try that anyway. If I might look a little bit less like Shrek. Anyway,
Minecraft Tom,
like a little Lego head. Oh dear. Yes, sorry, Banana Rama. I get it now. Morning to you, Rama. Thanks for joining. Roberto where is he? Where is he at the minute? I can't remember where he's gone. Somewhere nice.
He's gone. He's gone to Komodo in Indonesia, but there's been a bit of a fuck up with his flights, and they ended up having to spend the entire day yesterday, or whatever the time changes, in Jakarta.
Oh, my heart bleeds.
Yeah. sent me a beautiful photo of what looked like, I think it was a rooftop terrace. He had to spend one day in Doha, to be fair, and of course there's no alcohol there, so that must have been a bit of a chore.
Wow. I'm sure he was surrounded by lovely women that are only 50 cents an hour. But anyway. Morning, Gaz. Morning, Gazzy, mate. Hope you're well. Thanks for joining us. Morning. The one and only Liam. Morning, Liam. Hope you're well, mate.
Hey, Liam, you ready for your tour later?
Yes, I'm gonna. Hopefully, I've got quite an action-packed Sunday.
Don't give me that.
I'm coming on. I'm telling you, I'm coming on. After this, I've got to take the missus for a few bits of shopping that she needs to do.
We might have Sam Parker on. You should join.
Now. And no, it's 3 o'clock. Is it 3 o'clock on your stream? We're going through? Right, okay. I will be there. Yeah. I will be there. I will have to plug my camera into the national grid to charge the battery, but I will be there. I'll make the effort. I promise I will be there 3 o'clock. Who else have we got in here? Yarek. Morning, Yarek. I hope you are well. Have you decided what new tank you're getting yet, buddy? Because he was at Aqua H and he was sort of, do I do this? Do I get that? Do I get the other? So he's going bigger. He's got a cube at the minute. I think he's going to contemplating getting a bigger tank. So put it in the comments, Yarek. It'd be good to know where you are with that, mate.
I think he joined Reef AF this week.
He has. Lovely chap. Yeah, lovely lad. Who else we got? Oh, Carlos is in. Morning, Carl. Hope you're well. He knows us too well. Look, morning, Muppets. Yeah, that's us. I think he'd have to categorise himself put himself in the same category as well. To be fair,
are we not all really
Reefing Muppets?
If you think you're not, you're wrong.
Yeah. You spend thousands of pounds on things that come out of the ocean. Yeah. Oh dear. Jupiter's Reef. Morning, Jupiter's Reef. Hope you're well. It was nice meeting you again at Aqua H. Hope you're well. And who else have we got in the house? We've also got some new names. Thanks for joining us. EIY Kumar. Yo, what's up? Yes, what's up, brother? Thanks for joining.
Yo.
We've got Amanda Davison. Thanks for joining us, Amanda. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good weekend so far. Happy Sunday to you. And I think we are thereabouts. 30 in the house. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday morning. Yeah. I dare ask you what the weather is like up yonder in old Scottsville, Ronald. Right, okay. Yeah. Pretty much. To be fair, it wasn't bad yesterday in Rotherham yesterday.
We had 3 days of no rain last week. So I really shouldn't.
No, when I say it was all right yesterday. There was no news of any stabbings, rapes, murders in Rotherham yesterday. So it was quite.
So were you housebound? Were you?
Yeah, like COVID again. Couldn't go out. I had to walk around with a piece of paper saying I'm allowed in, I'm allowed out. Yeah, please sign here. Anyway, no, it was quite mild yesterday. But now
How's that ankle tag doing? Is it still chafing?
Yeah. It's still chafing. I've got 2 actually, one on each. I've got 3, one on each ankle. I am from Rotherham at the end of the day. Oh dear. Is there such a thing as a nice day in Rotherham? Well, yeah, like I say. Anyway, so this morning we are going to talk about everybody's first tank. And I said that for the record again. I said tank, Ron. Yeah. So I know how your mind works.
You suggested the box of Kleenex and the little video at the start.
So if anybody's not already sent a picture in, it would be great if you could. If you've got a picture of your first tank, send me a DM into Instagram if you can, or if I already talked to you on a group, then just send me on WhatsApp, whatever, and I will try if we've got time to add it to the chat. It'd be really good if you could.
Yeah, we all need a good laugh.
Morning, Jay. Thanks for joining us, mate. Hope you're well.
Hey, Jay.
Have a good weekend.
Amazing video he did at Aqua H. Like, yes, really, really good.
The amount of time that goes into these and editing them, wow.
I was the one that you would miss a lot if you spent the whole day with a camera in your hand.
You mean a bit like the camera I carried around with me all day at Aqua that was on standby, so the battery was died when I turned it on? Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Lesson learned. So, shall we start with? We start with you. We start with me. Who do you want to go? Who's going first?
It's up to you, Tom. It's your show.
Well, me and you have got a lot in common, haven't we, when it comes to
do.
reefing? Which is a bit scary to say we've not known each other 5 minutes, to be
It's
fair.
a bit bizarre, actually.
Like, even the same colour. I was like, what? What's John saying here just before we do go into this? They didn't have cameras when I first got my marine tank 36 years ago. Oh, dear. Well, describe it to us, John, in the comments. It'd be good to know. It'd be good to know. So we're going to go first with you. So there's no shame in this. If you've got pictures, please send them in of your first ever reef tank. It would be great to add them to the chat. So we'll go straight in with you, Ron. So talk us through it. What are we looking at here?
So the backstory of this tank is I was in a job for 18 years, went completely out of my comfort zone, went down a really bad mental health spiral, ended up with major depression, and decided I needed something to completely and utterly take my mind off of everything, like entirely. And I bought this tank, the rock, the water, the fish, the invertebrates on Gumtree with zero knowledge of keeping a fish tank.
Wow.
Even freshwater.
So I was going to say, no tank prior.
Nothing. So I rocked up to the door, hand the guy the cash, drain the tank into buckets with no lids.
Wow.
So by the time we got back to my house, half the water was missing. I said to Bernadette, how much salt have you got in the cupboard? She said, this much. I didn't realize there was fish tank salt. I thought it was just salt. Yeah. So, strangely enough, though, let me just say for the record, in the first 6 months I had that tank, I lost less livestock than I probably did in the next 10 years in the hobby.
Wow.
Because I knew so little, I didn't fuck with anything. So anyway, cut a long story short, I was super paranoid about trying to get water up to temperature. And then the day we brought that home, there was a power cut. So the water was already quite cold. And the only way I could heat water up was a giant pot. And I stuck it on a little disposable barbecue outside, not realizing I needed RO water. So that caused some problems. So yeah, it was just a complete and utter clusterfuck. I'm not going to lie. But I lost not one fish, invertebrate, nothing. Everything lived the entire time.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. So yeah, it was a hell of a start in the hobby for me. And now I am probably OCD level on researching things before I do buy them. But back then it was just, I was in a really bad place and I just needed something that was 100% focused. So yeah, so it's an Aqua Reef. I think it was 4 foot long, if I remember right.
I think it's 400, isn't it? Aqua
400.
Yeah, 400 liters, ironically. Yeah.
It was T5 lighting. It had 2 white bulbs, 2 blue bulbs, if I remember right, inside my canopy. Yeah, and it's the heaviest tank I've ever owned.
Correct.
It was a tank.
The bracing was like, you couldn't have smashed that tank up, and even if you drove into it with an RT lorry, it could take some beating.
And all the inbuilt helmet and the base, which was actually all built into the tank itself, was all like epoxy resin coated and stuff, and it was an amazing tank. Now that I think back, it was incredible. The pipework, the skimmer, and all of the other stuff that went with it was absolutely dire. And within weeks, everything got replaced. Bubble Magus, as I'm.
Yeah, I did. We did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, we'll go for that.
3.5 or something like that I went with. And then the biggest thing I did with that tank before I actually upgraded the system was the lighting. So I went, the Max Spec Razor was launched, and I thought this was the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life. The wee digital display in the end, and you could change all the colors and stuff. Oh, whoa! Never used any of it, as none of us do use any of it. I mean, why do Radions have Discord mode?
Well, yeah, I don't know.
to give fish epileptic fits of some description. So yeah, but the Max Spec Razor I absolutely loved. I got it dialed in quite well, and then I got some soft corals, and then the upgrade. That was it. I jumped from that to a 7-foot custom clear seal, which I still have today in the shop.
Right.
But yeah, it was a pile of a mixture of rocks. So there was ocean rock. So ocean rock's the absolutely solid stuff, isn't it? With the holes in it.
Yeah.
So there was some ocean rock in there. There was a couple of bits of Pucani, and then that purple is not real coralline. That's fake live rock. I don't know what it was though. It was a lot lighter than your Carib Sea and your stuff like that. Now it was decent rock, and every single bit you see in that photo, I still own. So it's still, and I still think I've got one of those power heads. I think I use it for mixing salt. I can't remember, but yeah. So livestock that came in the tank was a yellow tang, 2 domino damsels, a 6-line wrasse.
Domino damsels. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
You had fingers, did you?
They went to my local fish shop within 2 weeks when I realized they were kicking the shit out of the yellow tang. I was like, this doesn't make sense. They're this size and the yellow tang's this size. Whoa, arsehole fish. And there was a couple of hermit crabs and things like that, but I wasn't interested in the fish at the time. Looking at all of the stuff crawling out of the rocks at night was paramount for me. I loved it. Finding your first bristle worm, it was like, what is that? And
you've got a natural sort of curiosity. You want to touch it.
That's cuddly. And then yeah. Yeah.
Ron, I've missed this. How long ago was this tank?
Say again. Sorry.
Josh. Morning, Josh. Sorry, mate.
Josh. Morning. How long ago was this tank? I've obviously missed the.
I think that tank was maybe 10 years ago.
Nice.
Roughly, something like that.
Nice.
Yeah, didn't even.
Can you remember what you paid for it, roughly?
For the tank, the livestock, the rock, everything. I think it was around about 900 quid, which I know at the time was actually quite expensive, but the tank was brand new. The guy had set it up and he was moving house. I think it had only been running for a couple of months, as you can see. I mean, that's not the day I set it up, but Ron, did it come with all the plastic? It didn't. The tiny little stupid sized thump did have a section for plastic balls and little plastic baffles, but no, it didn't come with the plastic balls. I wouldn't have known what they were anyway, so I would have just thought it was for Sabutio or something, which I've never played. I'm shit at sports.
Oh dear me. Yeah, well, I had the same tank, obviously, so we're not going to talk about that too much. But yeah, we'll go on to one of the reviewers. But next, but what did you love about the tank? I mean, I'm assuming it was the fact it was a tank. It was the first saltwater tank you'd had, obviously. But was there any certain bits of it that blew your mind, or?
I just loved every bit of it, every single bit of it, but mostly all of the shit I didn't realize lived in proper live rock.
Yeah,
I every day, your first Asked Arena is like, whoa, where did that come from?
Yeah, I've got corals growing up. No, that's Artesia. No, the corals.
Oh, and they still pretty.
Yeah.
But the main reason why I wanted to get into the hobby was because a friend of mine had tropical tanks, and he kept on telling me, don't get into marine. Didn't mention the money side of it. He just kept on talking about the fact that it was just too hard for me. Don't do it. But then I went into Maidenhead Aquatics in Glasgow, and I saw a sand sifting goby and was just,
Ooh. Yeah.
he's eating the sand and it's coming out these bits, and then he eats another bit, and then he's best friends with a little shrimp. I was like, whoa, this is, and it's been non-stop ever since.
Because you will have taken that photograph whenever it was, say about 10 years ago, and you will at the time have been absolutely in your element, so proud of that as it looks right now.
Yes.
No, and I think we take it for granted, don't we? Because we're striving for perfection. Well, most of us, I think, are, or we're never happy with this tank. And I just think sometimes to have these photos, they're golden, because you can just sit there and just go, you know what, I was really happy with that now, and now I'm uffing and puffing that, you know, I ain't got enough flow in my tank, or my pH is too low, or whatever.
Well, just to go back to my first point, I lost not one single living thing from that system. And I carted it in a van for 3 hours, lost half the water in the back of the van. I think actually one of the fish ended up in the back of the fucking van. It was just, and everything survived. I didn't mess with it. I just set it up, filled it up with water, and left it. I didn't realize you had to top it up.
Wow.
And I also didn't realize that when water evaporates, salt doesn't. I didn't have a refractometer. I had no test kits, and I didn't lose a single animal.
Wow. Fair
So,
play to you. How long did you have that system for then? If you can remember again, if you could.
It was about a year, because as the hobby does with us, it gets into your bloodstream, and then you go to your LFS and you see an emperor angel or something, for example, and the person in the shop says, "What size is your tank?" You tell them, and they go, "Oh, you can't have that in that size of tank. That's absolutely ridiculous." And I'm like, "Well, what do I need?"
Yeah.
Oh, and you need 3 of these lights that are £500 each, and you need, and Bernadette went, "Nope."
Wow.
So I said to Bernadette, "Maybe you should go and sit in the car," and I ordered it all on the spot.
Did you?
Yep.
So what did you transition to then from the aqua tank? What did you?
Fully custom 7 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot clear seal, which meant
Clear seal. Wow.
which meant we couldn't switch the lights on and off in one of the rooms because I had misjudged where the light switch was, which is something you've talked about.
It is something I have talked about.
Yeah,
it is, because you let the reefing juices, shall we call it, get you carried away with things.
Well,
and,
you get the measuring tape out. The gap between that wall and that door is, 6.5 feet. I can squeeze 7 in.
Yeah. My missus, everybody, anything that we have to measure in the house, I am not allowed with the tape within a mile of a tape measure, because the amount of times I have miscalculated something. Yeah.
There's definitely a few jokes in there, but I'm going to leave it.
There will be, but we'll try and keep it clean for a Sunday morning. Right, I'm just going to jump into the chat because a few other people that have made the effort to join us. Really appreciate it. Morning, Alex. Hope you're well, mate. I hope you're having a good weekend, buddy.
Morning.
We speak to you later. Not spoke to you much this weekend. Hope you're doing well, mate. Hope the tank's all right. Paul's joined us. Morning, Paul. Hope you're well, mate. Hope everything's going on all right down there. Thank you ever so much.
Paul.
Yes. Yeah, Paul Hughes. Yeah, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Legend. Yeah, thanks for joining us, mate. Hope you're well. Paul. Yes. Critical Reef, morning. Just popped in, saying hi. Click the like button. Off out to catch the stream later. Yes, thank you very much.
Nice one. Thanks for clicking the button.
Yes, click the
Everyone
button.
click the button.
Click.
Now,
everybody
smash
click
the
button.
like.
That's it. Smash the like. So, did you sell this then, or did you give it away? How did you move on then? So
I changed job and got back into garden centres, and one of the guys that was working in the kitchen at the garden centre I went and worked at was really into reefing, had a tiny little nano tank, wanted to upgrade, and I sold that for a tasty profit.
Really?
Oh, I ripped him right off.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
So what have you got?
I'm just joking. I did.
I'm joking. Okay, I'm glad you're saying that. So how old do you think the tank was? You bought it second hand. You sold it third hand. Is it still going to this day? Do we know?
Well, I mean, it's certainly built that it should still be alive.
It's a juggernaut of a tank, isn't it?
It is the build quality is unreal. I would have it again because not long after that, I've actually skipped a section here. Sorry. Not long after that. So to the left of that tank, there's an archway into our living room. On the left of that archway, my LFS got traded in the 195-litre version of that in white. So I bought it, stuck it the other side of the archway, and had the two tanks matching either side. I sold that for a tasty profit too.
To be fair, though, that's one thing that Kaz, my other half, was stipulated with the tank, was that it needed to look like a piece of furniture. And I will give him credit for an entry-level tank. The quality of the cabinet was bang on. You know, the amount of salt creep and water you spill down the front of it. It was so easy to... I don't know what they were coated in, but they were coated in some sort of acrylic epoxy paint. Yeah.
But did you notice that
you could scrub it? You could scrub it, and you could use a scour on it, and it didn't come off. It didn't leave a green mark or stain when you cleaned it. It was brilliant.
But it had a metal bracing bar in it, which tanks are now going back to.
Yeah,
adding little bits of metal in, and it was epoxy resin coated as well. So people should learn a little bit from that.
Yeah, he was definitely a good tank. I think the only thing, well, we'll talk about my experience of it in a minute, but was just the weight that you keep going on about. The weight of it. It was
you're only lifting it twice. Once to get it in, and the second time to put it in the skip.
We just put it under your arm.
For a tiny profit.
Yeah, sorry for a tiny profit.
Oh, and you're lifting it yourself.
Oh dear. Right then. So, what would you give it out of 10? Come on then. What would you give it? Marks out of 10? First tank?
Yeah, but based on what? Because I just loved it. I learned so much from it.
Let's go. Price.
Well, I mean, but yeah, 10 out of 10 for build quality for my first tank. Unreal. It was better quality than my next tank was. So yeah, no, I absolutely loved it. In general, I'd give it. Let me think. The equipment was terrible. 8. I'd give it an 8.
Did you get the skimmer that goes with it? The aqua skim? You did, right? I didn't. Right,
so it hung out. No, it hung inside the sump. But there was a bit that hung outside, and it had these foam.
Built like a donkey.
Intake bits.
It was awful.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what it was when I bought it. I was like, I don't know what this is.
Blue pipe work, if I remember rightly. Blue pipe work.
One bit of pipe was blue, the rest was white.
I can't remember. Yeah, you know the irony of this is that you took all the pictures of it, but you never took a picture of the sump. Whereas nowadays, sumps are just so like it's like looking under the engine bay of a whatever car, and everybody wants the sump to look as good as the tank. You know,
I think we've got it completely the wrong way around. I think we focus on a lot of the wrong things. Don't get me wrong; we've learned so much, especially in the last couple of years in the hobby. It's been fantastic. I think it's really important that we do learn things.
Yeah.
But, you know, the more complicated my systems got, the more livestock I lost. And that's not why we're in the hobby.
No, couldn't agree more. A few more people have jumped in. Christian's here. Yeah, sorry, everybody. He's not in. He's having some quality family time. So he's obviously watching this on the sly. Morning, Christian.
Hey, Christian.
I see he'll be joining us back in next Sunday's stream. We've been joined by Chris. Morning, Chris. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate the support. So you get an 8 out of 10. First tank, loved it. Bought it second hand.
Yeah.
Got you in the well, you got addicted to it, should I say, quite early on. So you went and bought a 7-foot tank after having it a year.
100%. Yeah, okay. On the sly.
We're gonna skip me for a minute because I was a little. Well, we've got the similar tastes here of first tank. We're going to go straight into Josh now. Now, Josh, one thing I'm going to say is, were you as a child? Were you made to like mop the floor and clean the dishes and hoover up like? Oh right, I see where this is coming from. This makes complete sense because when I play this in a minute, this is the first time that a lot of people would have been very proud of, because me and Ron were talking about this, weren't we, before he came on?
We were.
And the level of cleanliness and how meticulous you are is just wow. Are you? I've got to ask before we show this. So you're a fireman, as we all know.
Yeah.
And that's
Which is
obviously
where I've been this morning.
Which is where you've been this morning, spot out a blaze. So not a cat up a tree or a dog stuck down a drain or anything like that.
No.
Okay.
So do you smell like a barbecue right now?
No, thankfully I wasn't over near it. I was driving and running the pump, so I was away from the stink. So I'm all right. But everyone else stinks.
But just to go, good. Just to go to his tank for a minute, his first tank. I'm led to believe. I've got this impression now, with you being a fireman, that when you roll the hose up, are you really anal in terms of it being like straight and all in line, or are you just like put it away and let's just go home sort of guy? Because your tank tells me otherwise. I will be honest.
Everyone's got to be anal with it, because otherwise, and you'd need to see fire engines to understand it. If everything isn't done perfectly, nothing fits. Like, they're designed, and then afterwards they go, "Oh, we need to put kit on this," so it squeeze everything in where you can. So if you're not anal in particular with it, nothing fits. So yeah, we're all quite anal with rolling the hose up in a straight line and putting it back on the drum and things.
But I think you are extra into that. Okay.
I wouldn't disagree with you.
Let's jump to it. So this is Josh's first tank. Talk us through it. But
my reefing journey started, I would say, about 6 years before I even bought a tank. So I started watching do you remember the BRS 52 Weeks of Reefing series?
Yep.
So I started watching that. I think that was 2014. I want to say it started. I started watching that then and watched it every week, and I wrote loads of things down. I had all these amazing ideas in my head of what I was going to buy, how I was going to set a tank up. And then I looked at the cost of things and went, yeah, I'm never going to do that on a fireman's wage. I mean, I wasn't at the time, but then obviously once I became one, I was like, there's absolutely no way I'm going to be able to afford that. So I started looking secondhand, and being in a rented flat, there was absolutely no way I was going to put 300-400 kilos worth of water on a suspended wooden floor. So we reverted, and the other half decided that she didn't particularly like the look of them. So she said, we can have a small tank, and that'll be it. So look, secondhand for small tanks was nothing amazing. And I thought I'll have a little trip around the local stores and see what they've got, what they'd recommend, things like that. And one of the ones I went to, it was called River to Reef at the time. It's no longer, it's called All Water Aquatics now. And it's moved. But the owner at the time, Alan, was great. He was really friendly, really helpful. Did me a really nice deal on the Fluval Evo, is it 52, 53, something like that? I can't remember what size it is now. 50 something liters. Did me a good deal on that. And I got the AI. Well, I didn't get the AI Prime straight away with it, but that was a deal where I would get it at a later date. And decided, yeah, that's the tank I'm going to go with. I'm going to have SBS in it. I'm going to go hard from the start, basically. And I ended up getting that. So the rock in there was that TMC Eco Reef rock. And that's all like sort of preformed shapes. They all come like preformed. You can buy like that. They're all like labeled. So you'd have like one of them might be like part K or something like that. And it was 2 pieces. I've joined them together, set it all up, and thought it was, the best thing ever. Obviously suspended the little light above it, put a little shelf. There's a little shelf that you can't quite see the lights hanging off of. Put the little shelf in above it, put some plants on that, just to, like you were saying, it has to look as like part of the furniture in the room. And that was sort of one of the aims was, it needs to look nice, but it needs to look like it fits. So there was a lot of effort went in around the tank as well as with the tank itself. So that it was years and years of thinking, what do I want to do? How do I want to do it? And then, eventually took the plunge, and probably couldn't have made more mistakes if I tried, if I'm honest.
I mean, I'd be happy with that tank right now in this office behind me. That is, I've got to take me out off to you. How long ago was this then?
That was 2019. So it was I think it was February 2019. Obviously, I'm not massively experienced in the hobby. But that was February 20. I think it was February 2019. I think I set this up maybe a little bit earlier. And it was, it ran for maybe a year. Until we ran into some real difficulties, courtesy of the TMC Eco Reef rock.
The only
right,
thing that
okay.
gives it away as being a first tank is the thermometer.
Yeah, see, that vanished quite quickly. That
I'll
was
bet it did. Everyone's does.
it was in there before I got the temperature controller, which arrived a couple of weeks after I set it up. I think that first picture is probably within a few hours of me setting it up. I just wanted to get a picture of it. You can see it's got the old Fluval Evil lid on it. It's all enclosed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was literally within a few hours of setting it up, and I was like, "This is amazing! Look at this aquascape; it looks perfect. It's everything I want in life."
It does.
And
It
then
looks absolutely banging.
yeah, and then it came to placing corals on it, and I went, "This is absolutely crap. It doesn't work." Because as we all do when you get a first tank, you go, "Oh, let's make the rocks look amazing," and you don't think once about how you're going to place corals. And then I went to place SPS on it, and I went, "Oh, these little frags are almost at the water surface here." So yeah, there was a lot of modification went on post. You can see on the you can see where I've like cut one of the chambers off as well. I cut that off while there was still water in the tank and it was all still running. That was probably the most stressful few hours of my life. I had a Dremel, drained all the like the chambers down, used a Dremel inside the chambers to cut away the chamber, then quickly snapped it off. And
Sound advice from a fireman. Sorry, sound advice.
Yeah, and then epoxied or like puttied a piece of plastic over the grill bits in the side of it to stop the water getting in there, and then cut a new weir comb in the top, and that was that. So that's why it looks.
My respect levels for you have just slightly plummeted, Josh. I'm not going to lie.
I'm just going to jump into some of these. I'm just going to jump to some of these comments, Josh. Before you carry on, sorry. Lee's saying at least it's got fish in it.
Can't even argue it.
And yeah, Rama's saying, do you have a fetish with water? Yeah, I mean, yeah. So it must have, I suppose, propelled you, should I use the kind of phrase, into research and learning about it? Because a small volume of water, I mean, I've never had a tank that small, but from what I hear and what I know of people who have, it's quite, it's harder to maintain certain things. Would you agree? I mean, I've not had one, so.
I mean, so that tank there, just because it didn't have very much in it, wasn't too bad. Obviously, I was from the start. I was quite anal with the measuring out the salt with a set of scales, measuring the water out perfectly to the correctly. I'd always bins marked, so I filled one bin up 10 liters, and then marked off where the 10-liter mark was. Poured that water into another bin, marked that off, so everything was absolutely identical. So it was just, excuse me, at first water changes, and it worked perfectly. It was absolutely ideal. But then over time, obviously, there was a few bits of coral went in there, and I went and got the Jabal doses. Remember those? They're not the greatest things in the world. So I used that to use the Red Sea ABC, and then when I came back from a holiday, I realised that everything was starting to look pretty bad. I'd lost a couple of corals, and I straight away thought, we've lost Tom. Straight away thought it was he's going to be tearing his. I was going to say tearing his hair out, but he hasn't got any to tear out, so never mind. But I noticed that everything had looked pretty bad, so straight away put it down to the doses. Thought they're really cheap doses. It's probably one of these has gone wrong. But I checked all the parameters and everything was perfect. So I was dead confused as to what it was. Obviously, like I said before, it was the rock. But yeah, maintaining the parameters with a small volume of coral in a small body of water was easy because it was just predominantly water changes. And then obviously, as you move up to bigger and better things and more corals, things get a little bit more different. But yeah, I'd say that small of a tank, water changes were sufficient. So it wasn't as hard as some people might make it out to be, which is nice.
I've had one small tank, not to go off topic, but it was a 60-liter TMC microhabitat. And it was just carnage, just every algae you can imagine, huge temperature fluctuations based on a really small water quantity and a very warm room in my house. So it just kept flip-flopping. Nothing would stay stable. I think even some of the bacteria probably get killed off with some of the fluctuations. So yeah, I've got a completely different experience with smaller tanks.
Yeah, I mean that tank, even though sort of the initial setup on that was okay, and then I realized that the sort of like the filtration section was quite limiting. Obviously made the changes to it, and that didn't really impact the running of the tank, it ran just as I wanted it to, because I was going skimmerless. I didn't use a skimmer on the tank. And it was a fairly simple and easy setup. It was fine, obviously, until things then started to go wrong. Sent an ICP test away, and it turned out that that TMC Eagle Reef rock was leaching, I believe it was cobalt, silicon, or silicates. And I think there was something else. I can't remember what it was now. But so at first I thought maybe it was something like, I don't know, a magnet might have ruptured, or the heater was maybe degrading. But the heater was plastic, so I thought maybe there's an internal part that's had been degrading. I didn't know what it was. I did a load of digging and eventually came across a thread on Ultimate Reef, and it was pages and pages of people hammering the Eco Reef rock and saying, I've got this, I've got that. And all the results people were getting were the exact same. So yeah, I put it down to that. And at that point, straight away, I thought, well, I've got a choice. Do I try and ride it out, do loads of water changes, and try and make a success of it? But quite quickly, I sort of thought, I'm already not as keen on this tank as I once was. I chopped the chambers up so it didn't look as nice as it was supposed to. The scape wasn't as ideal as I wanted it to be. So I just sort of thought to myself, that was the catalyst for let's jump into, and when I say a bigger tank, it was 20 litres bigger. So even though it was bigger, it's pretty negligible in the world of reef tanks, I would say. And went over to the Red Sea Max Nano, but before I did the changeover, like you were saying about the crazy algae, things like that, I ended up with dinos, I ended up with cyano, and it was all because I knew that I was going to be changing the tank over. So I got quite negligent with things, as you do when you sort of, you're a bit disheartened down about things, you just sort of let it go. And I didn't know what was causing it. I was feeding Red Sea AV Plus to like try and keep the corals alive, inadvertently feeding the dinos and the slimes, so making everything worse. And I was thinking, why is it doing this? And then that magical cure, what was it called? The pesticide based. No, well, yeah, there is that. No, it was like a pesticide. It was
Vibrant.
That's the one. Yeah, Vibrant.
Well,
yeah, threw some Vibrant at it and thought this will solve it, and did it. So yeah.
Have you heard that the court case has been decided on, and they have to pay out, I think it's $250,000.
Who?
I have no idea. And
yeah,
damages, not a clue. But yeah, that was
application in.
It's really, really good though that you got an answer to what was going on in your tank with that rock, though, because I think a lot happens in this hobby that we don't know what the actual culprit is. The fact that you have a definitive answer for that is really good.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those that, like, I obviously found that, and I was assuming it was the cause, and then when I found other people, I didn't assume it was the rock to start with. I just literally was Googling high cobalt in a reef tank, and then obviously I came across that thread, and it was obviously still coincidence. There was no evidence until one of the people on the thread, and I don't remember who it was, but he deserves credit, ran a test where he sat the rock, and it was unused rock as well. It hadn't been in a reef tank. It was brand new out of a box. Sat it in RO water, heated, and ran it for about a month or so. Sent an ICP off before and after. Lo and behold, we had high cobalt, high silicates, and there was a few other things. I can't remember what they were, but cobalt and silicates were the two real telltales as what the problem was. So we all, as quite a few of us, reached out to TMC, and at first they were quite, as you'd imagine, they were quite standoffish, going, "This isn't our fault. This isn't our rock. How do you know it's the rock?" And they, in their credit, they actually phoned me personally, and I think they might have spoken to quite a few others. They actually phoned me up and spoke to me and said, "Look, what's your evidence? What have you got to support this?" And I said, "I've got an ICP test. I've got a number of other people who have got identical ICP tests. The only thing we have in common is your rock, and someone has also got ICP tests of what would you call it? How would you describe it when they're a control test? They had an ICP of a control test that proved that our ICPs were accurate, and it was down to the rock." And so TMC basically said, the only way we can see around this for you to be able to keep your tank going is lots of big water changes until it's all leached out and it's gone. So they sent me one of the, they had the big 25 kilo boxes of the Eco Reef Salt.
Yeah.
Tropic Marin Pro Reef.
Tropic Marin Pro Reef, yeah.
Yeah. So they sent me a box of that, free of charge, to be able to do water changes until the rock was finished leaching effectively. And I did start doing a few, but then obviously I made the choice to upgrade. So yeah, even though it was frustrating, even though it was disappointing, and there was no real public, whereas Tropic Marin acknowledged publicly when their salt was bad, TMC never came out and did that, which was a bit of a bummer for me. I thought it would have been good of them to come out and say, look, we know we've got a problem with this. And then they did. They said it was something to do with, because the sand they used to make the rock was mined on land. And they said it was something to do with the sand, had been some sort of pollution with it.
At no point,
it was never
you didn't wake up next to a severed horse's head or anything like that.
No, thankfully not. I mean, I might do now. I've come on a live stream and said it, but I think I've said it before. So I'm hoping that, I won't have any ramifications coming back and biting me. But yeah, no, it was a shame they never publicly came out and said, our rock's got a problem. If you'd like to exchange it or do something about it, it would have been nice to see. But I know a lot of people that did reach out and had ICPs that could back up their claim were treated very similarly to how I was. So I can only commend them on that side of things.
Yeah.
It was dealt with. But then I, like you, ended up selling the tank on for a tidy profit. And myself, so I ended up getting the Red Sea Max Nano, the tank that was before this one. And I paid less for that with all the livestock, and it came with loads of corals, loads of fish, loads of inverts, load of equipment. I paid less for that than what I ended up selling my other tank for. So it worked perfectly.
Hey.
Oh, here we go. He's back.
My router's just decided to do an up.
Stop talking about it now, Josh.
Yeah.
Oh, he's frozen now. Look.
Oh, dear me. Technology and Tom don't mix, do they?
Oh my God. So let's just take over and let's jump into the comment. Rama, the one with the lid with the hinges, he's asking. I can't obviously pull it up on the screen because I'm not in control of this. No, it was the single piece of black glass with the sticker stuck on LED lights that bubbled and the water got in between the LEDs and stuff. It was a terrible tank. Would not buy it again.
Which question is he asking here? I'm trying to find where he said this.
The little 60-litre TMC microhabitat I had. Yes. He was asking if it was the one with a hinged lid. It wasn't. It was this super duper like futuristic bit of black glass, and it was LED lights like sellotaped to the underneath of it. And when it got wet, it just all bubbled, and then the wires get covered in salt. They replaced it 3 times until I was like, you know what, this is just not. It's just not going to work. So no, it was a terrible tank, terrible experience. No offense to TMC, that's 2 negative things that have been discussed about them today. I'm sure they're a great company. I'm not saying anything bad about anybody, but that tank was rubbish.
Sorry, what have I missed?
Everything, basically.
Well, I was just about to ask Josh. Oh, Josh, do you irritate every other fireman you work with because you have to wait for RO before you go to a fire?
Can you imagine if I had to do that?
Oh, God.
No, I cannot use tap water. It will leave streaks in the windows. Sorry. Moving on, Tom. God.
Can you imagine the size of his membranes and his pre-filters he must carry around?
Yeah, the booster pump.
Everybody's lights go like that when Josh turns his booster pump on. Power station. Anyway. Yes,
sorry,
me and technology, I do apologise. My router just decided to do an update midway through the stream, and last week it was my camera. Not getting much luck. I don't know which one I'm worse with, fish tanks or technology. But anyway,
technology. Definitely technology.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Can we have a poll for what it will be next week? You want to do a wee countdown?
Yeah,
my head just might just fall off. Should we look at what's going to go wrong for next week? Are we going to look? Mate, hey, we've got an hour and a bit left, so anything could happen.
That's true.
We're going to jump into somebody else's tank now, because obviously people have made the effort, and thank you again for people who sent me pictures in and about their first tank. So let's me just see if I can add some of these. Oh, right. It's saved all this. So this is good. So let's jump into Liam's first tank. No shame in this one. Liam's first aquarium was a Red Sea 250. Nice scape, yeah. I agree. It was sumped. He was running Calquas on his first system, can you believe?
And he's running Radians.
And he had 2 Gen 4 XR15s, yeah, above it.
Nice. Yeah. Is Liam in the comments now?
Yes, he should be. Liam, if you are...
He's here. He was here.
How long ago this was?
Yes, sorry, I didn't ask this. What year? Yeah, we need to know when this was, so... Yes, put it in there. Hi, yes, he's here. So, yeah, what year was it, Liam? Can't wait to see Tom set up his Apex. Yeah, thanks for that, Rob, even.
2.5 years ago.
2.5 years ago, that was.
Wow.
Softies, Xenia, Kenya trees. The good old beginner stuff.
So he's only been in the hobby that long. And look at the tank he's just got. Wow.
I know. Massive step up. Big step up. Yeah.
There was a guy local to me that went from, I think it was like about a 3-foot tank, and then immediately jumped up to a 10-foot home built or like built-in aquarium in his house. And I think within a few months he'd sold it again. So,
did the mermaid die?
Yeah, it was. I think it was a bit of a big jump, shall we say?
Yeah. Thanks, Liam. Thanks for sharing that. We've got some more in the presentation booth today. What else we got? Let's jump in and see another first tank. Leroy's first tank.
The top of your t-shirt, Tom. Corals have made me do. Oh no, I was going to have a quiz on what does it say.
Yeah, I should have left it. Yes, yeah, it wouldn't have been very clean. It would have been quite blue knowing you at this time again on a Sunday morning. We've not passed the noon mark yet, so you've got to be careful.
Well, what's the difference between light and hard? You can go to sleep with a light on.
Don't encourage him, Josh. They just get worse. Don't laugh.
That was a fake laugh.
that was a small genuine.
Right. So Lee's saying this was 16 years ago. His first tank, custom 2-foot cube, canister filter, no methodology, just weekly water changes.
Look how good that live rock is, though. Can you see all the different stuff on that rock?
Beautiful.
All the sponges. That's gorgeous.
Oh, you all right there, Ron? Yellow tank.
Lee, how long did this run for?
Yeah, how long did it run for? I didn't ask him that. Sorry. Random light bought off Amazon. Bubble tips, Xenia, Pallies. Oh, so he was playing with Pallies back 16 years ago, Ron. So there's no wonder he's turned out how he has today.
Pizzas have never been the same since. Taste literacy.
Oh dear. Live rock, though. I mean, wow. Where do I start? You used to, and we talk about this all the time, don't we? I suppose. Stuck record. Apologies, but you used to go to an LFS to be a big vat or a tank. What do I want? This week, get a piece of live rock. Away you go. It was great. It really was. What's it put?
It even looks amazing. Like the fact that it's got all the different colors and textures, like it looks so natural.
Ran it for 3 years.
Looks amazing.
I love that.
You can see almost like that rock bottom left looks like it maybe had live coral on it at some point.
Or was a live coral even at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
Wow. Custom 2-foot.
His first tank was a custom.
Yeah. It was one that he'd bought. I think he was saying to me yesterday when he popped around, he's saying that it was just one that he'd, found. He'd just come into, somebody had passed it on to him, or he'd just got an opportunity to get it. It wasn't a brand. It wasn't, fancy.
In a garden.
Probably kicking around his garden knowingly, yeah. Oh, he was mowing the lawn one day and just heard this chunk.
It's probably still there, to be fair.
Dug it up.
That's my conservatory.
Oh, dear. What's he put in here? Bought it, yeah, at Abyss, cheap. Yeah, so we bought it at a fish shop. I think it was one of the tank that they'd been using. Yeah, it came out of his mum's cupboard, as Rob's saying. Yes, like everything else does. couldn't hold back. But no, I think we all agree. Nice little tank. That nice first tank. That
Beautiful.
definitely
Tracking.
beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful. Thanks for sharing, Lee. Appreciate it as always. Right, let's jump into what else we've got in the let's have a look. Dave's first tank. Dave Emer.
Ooh, softies.
Softies. Dave, if you're in the chat, I don't think you are. I don't think you're on this morning. If you are, tell us what year it was if you can, so we can look at what you were doing back then. But yeah, softies. Live rock again. So was. Kept Marine, 90 litres, not sumped. Again, no
Very
methodology.
similar first fish, though. It's the usual suspects, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Clowns, yeah, tangs. Built-in fluorescent tube. So, yeah, it would have been I'm assuming it had a standard sort of lid like the Aqua ones that we were talking about earlier did. Came with a, fluorescent tube in T5 in there.
I wonder how long ago that one was as well.
Yeah.
Probably mid-2000s, that I'm going to assume.
Yeah. But you just took the rock for granted, didn't you, back then? It was just a I don't know, a platform to be able to put corals on it and grow things on it. Was never...
I got rock for 3 birthdays from my dad. He just took me to the LFS and just, do you want a bag of rock? I was like, cool. What'd you get you for birthday? Some rock.
Wow. So, yeah.
Amazing.
You don't see? Do you see many? You can still get all those corals now, can't you? To be fair, you still get pulsy xenia and leathers.
I haven't done it in an LFS for a long time. In fact, my LFS hardly even stocks zoas, from what I can remember.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Dave. Thanks again for that. What else have we got? Let's have another look at some more that have been sent in to us by the viewers. Who else have we got?
Hey, Josh, has your washing machine finished yet?
Why didn't you say something?
It does like to do his washing at the same time we're doing the live stream. Just
No, it's not me that puts it on as well. I got in from work and she was like, the washing machine's on. I was like, oh, great, thanks.
All right, okay. Anyway.
No, it has finished now, yeah. Thanks, Ron.
Cool.
You like throwing us under the bus, didn't you?
No, it's just I'm just glad you're awake.
Gaz's first reef tank.
That's why.
You should have told me. I could have sent you some of mine up to do. Right, Gaz has messaged me some more this morning on this. Let's have a look. So we've got Red Sea 300, sumped, obviously, as to expect. Lights, Red Sea lights. I don't know when this was. I can't remember.
It can't have been that long ago. If it's got the reef lids on it.
That looks like the not the Carib Sea rock, the other one. It might be the Carib Sea rock, to be fair, so it can't be too old, that one.
Maybe Real Reef.
2001, that tank.
No, it can't be.
No chance.
2021, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm just reading my chat. Sorry,
because the
300 all recently just come out.
Yeah, and
I'm only going what he's told me.
And the 300 XL came with Hydra 26, I think.
Well, it'd be nice, for you two to contribute one time. Just saying.
Well, we're telling you what the crack is.
You fucking disappear from the stream entirely, and it's okay for us to what?
2 weeks in a row, we've got to just see 2021. Look.
All right. Come on, behave. Don't pick on Tom. I had enough of that this week.
You've gone quite quiet, Tom. What just happened there?
Really?
Yeah.
Want me to increase?
Find the midway point.
Come on, there you go. How's that? Are we happy with that?
Beautiful.
There we go.
I don't know what happened there.
I've got messages from people in the chat. I've got you guys taking the mick at me and trying to do a channel here, trying to have a bit of fun on a Sunday.
You let me know what you need, and I will be there.
But you'll give him grief first.
Yeah, I don't know why I've just got that "I'll be there" song in my head now. Anyway, right. Has your microphone run out of battery? No, I'm running out of battery myself. I'm knackered today. So Come on,
What?
back to the tank in discussion. This is Gaz's first reef, 2021, 300 XL, obviously sumped.
A very nice first tank. Like that is really nice.
Yeah.
What are you using for flow on that, Gaz? I don't see any. Does anybody?
There's a gyre there, top right hand corner behind
There
the
is.
reflection.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the Red Sea gyre? It looks like the big end caps.
Yeah, possibly.
You're a man about caps then, Ron, clearly. Yeah, it does look like a gyre or Red Sea. Yeah, Red Sea lights as well.
Gyres out by then?
Yeah,
definitely.
Really?
Yeah,
easy.
yeah. The Red Sea's one of the first. Well, one of the first like small versions, weren't they? They did that really like short version that's similar to the AI one.
25s is what he's saying.
There we go.
Yeah.
Cheers, Gaz.
Very nice, Gaz. I like it. I do like it.
And he also ran it with, what did he put here? TMC UV Red Sea 300 skimmer. So he was very much on the Red Sea bandwagon for his first tank.
The TMC UV always, I mean, I assume they work, but they always looked so antiquated. Such a weird design.
The Vectron.
Yeah.
And in one like sort of the weird
Did you ever change a bulb in one? It was mental.
I did.
It was really rough.
You could always tell. You could definitely always tell who'd run a TMC UV from a second-hand market because the cabinet just left a silhouette.
Yes, it's
very random.
Yes, yes, it did.
almost like a liver sort of.
I know exactly what you mean.
You know.
Oh, Vecton? Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Any good? Nah. Threw it away. Yeah. I think I actually broke one actually trying to change the bulb, ironically.
So did I.
You broke some sort of technology-based thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Surprise, mate. Surprise.
But they've not changed the design.
No.
I don't. It's not something I look at, to be honest with you. I know people do, but it's not. I think it is one of those entry-level bits of kit that people do tend to buy, though.
Yeah.
I think.
Did they do a?
Go on.
Go on, mate. Go on. No, go on.
I was just saying, you've got this. I think you've got this sort of mindset that if you've got it, then if it's available, then you need it. If that makes any sense. So if you can buy it, I've got to have that because I haven't got one. So therefore, if I've got one, then that means I'm going to have more success with my tank. I think somewhere along the lines, that's how people think with first systems, anyway.
I think they definitely do much bigger, high-end commercial versions, don't they? Which I assume will be far more effective.
Yeah, definitely.
They did the upgraded version, didn't they? The Titan, as it was called, the purple one.
Yes.
I don't know if that was just identical.
Remember
I don't know what
was
different about it, whether it was bigger bulbs or what. But yeah, and it had a purple case rather than a blue one. So it was a little bit more premium.
It was more turgid.
Just saying it was real reef rock, that.
Yeah, thought so.
Yeah.
That's the stuff I had in the Max Nano.
All right. Thanks for sharing, Gaz. Appreciate it. Yes, I know you sent me some pics this morning, mate, but sorry, I was a little bit occupied this morning.
Gaz, how long did that one run for? And did you struggle to grow coralline on the rock?
Good question. Good question. Right, I'll leave it.
I don't know if it was the cleanup crew chewing through it all, or whether or not it was just the rock seemed to have a bit of an issue with it adhering to it. But it was everywhere else, but I could never seem to get it to grow on the rock. I wonder if it was the cleanup crew, to be fair.
Your comment, 12 months. Is that I'm assuming that's how long he ran it for? 12 months, the system. That's what he's saying. I'm assuming. But yeah, let us know about the coralline. I'll come back to that. Let's want to jump on. Right, let's talk about my first experience, shall we?
With a reef tank.
With a reef tank.
Okay. Just
ironically, similar sort of age.
I was just gonna start taking notes, Tom. That's all.
Oh, I love to hate you, Ronald. Right. Where are we? Right. So same as Ron. Aqua One 400 tank in the dining room in our first little house together, mine and Kaz's house. And if you can look, I can't zoom in, but there wasn't much space it fit like a glove in that alcove. I don't know how I managed to, and this was an old terrace house, and yeah, when the plastering was done, he must have known that I was going to put that tank there because it just fits so well.
That is the biggest letterbox I've ever seen. You must have got loads of mail.
Well, yeah. It was really good when it was your birthday, but unfortunately, I don't have many friends, so only one came down the chimney on that particular day.
I do bet, sorry, to go into the tank, I do bet you thought when that fitted in that alcove, that was amazing, that it was such a snug fit until the first time you went to clean it.
Yeah.
The first time something went down the back and
Yes, or a magnet fell off, or a fish jumped out. The usual things that happen when you have a tank. No, that letterbox one was if for the friends that I do have that do know me, mainly in the reefing community, do know that I like a beer. Probably too many, I should probably say, for the normal weekly intake. But that was another one of my famous drunken purchases. That fire. It is a fireplace.
Oh,
fireplace.
Drunken purchase. So what online?
And I'd be interested if anybody in the comments has made a drunken reefing related purchase. Please post it, because I'd love to know what you decided to buy when you had probably one or two many sherbets that you probably wouldn't have bought if you were listening to the usual, angel on your shoulder saying, "Can you really afford that?"
Just to double check, you're casting that fireplace as a reefing related drunken purchase?
It's just you've got me thinking now that was a drunken purchase. So has anybody in the comments made a reefing related drunken purchase? I would be interested to know what it was and what you bought. Yeah, what you bought. So please put it in the comments. It'd be cool. So anyway, back to my tank. Same as you, Ron. You can actually see that I copied your Rockscape pretty much in the first picture, the top left.
Who was driving the JCB?
Well, that tank was filled by a shop. They're still going now, to be fair, but they don't do marine. They do chops and koi, I think. And they came with a little van, whatever you call it, with a tank on the back of it. Big hose pipe, filled it up. And I didn't know anything about cycling. I don't mean a bike, cycling a tank, rock, bacteria.
I was waiting for Ron then.
I stole it because I know exactly how his mind works now. So I stole it.
You robbed me. You robbed me.
Too easy. Too easy. Anyway, so, but fortunately for me at the time, so this would have been about 2008, 2009, we could go and get live rock, which is what I went and got, because at the time there wasn't much man-made rock available. It wasn't really a thing. And I mean, when I think back then, Christ, I wanted big bulky stuff, but the amount of rock that I put to all the Tonga branch that I just dismissed. I don't want that shit in my tank. I want big bulky, sort of juggernaut, sort of man-made, well, not man-made, but big sort of size pieces.
And I'm going to shake it off and get rid of as much water so I don't pay for it.
I did admit to doing that. Yeah, I did admit to doing that a few times. And I also found that if you could, I'm sure a law of physics says you couldn't, but I was that guy that tried to position it in such a way that it wasn't fully on the scales, so it was cheaper when they were weighing it. Anyway, typical Yorkshireman. I must confess.
Oh my God.
That was secondhand. I think I can't remember how much I paid. I think similar to you, to be fair, but it didn't come with any livestock. It was literally just the tank. But I think secondhand, I paid about 500 quid for it, secondhand, just for the tank with the sump and the pipe work. No equipment in terms of skimmer, return or anything. I had to go out and buy those. And the first skimmer I went out and bought from memory was a TMC hang-on skimmer. That lasted about, what?
3 days?
Yeah, about a week. And I bought that brand new as well, which was a bit of a bummer. And because the second-hand market I'd not really thought about the second-hand market until somebody said about the tanks. We went to buy that tank brand new, and I think it was about 1,500 quid at the time for that tank. If you wanted it brand new, I'm sure it was something like that. And yeah, we paid 400-500 quid for it second-hand. And then I started finding Facebook, and that was when you could list on Facebook a coral was a coral. You didn't have to call it carbon or whatever else you have to call it these days to get through the, Facebook, whatever legalities of it being an animal. And yeah, I just started picking stuff up. So the first skimmer on it was a bubble magus, which I think you talked about. You had one as well.
Did.
Cannot remember the return pump, but I think it would have been a Jebao or J-Cod, something,
Same.
something entry level to start with. Yeah. Power heads again. Yeah, MP40s again, Josh, like you pointed out, couldn't have an MP40 because the wet side wouldn't sit, the dry side, sorry, wouldn't have sat on the side of the tank. So I can't remember what we ended up going with in the end, but I think we had some entry level, again, probably some Chinese random make that I picked up secondhand and had the suckers on. And in fact, I had a power head that had 3 suckers on the back of it that you had to smash to the back of the glass.
Do you have a Tunzi as well? Is that a Tunzi in the top left?
Yes, it is. Yes, I think it is. Yeah. But so anyway, so first picture, sorry, top left is literally pretty much, I don't know, a couple of months in. We'd got Kenya tree and whatever else, softies, a few leathers. My mum and dad, when we moved into this, we'd not been in this house long. My mum and dad took us to an LFS and bought us a piece of GSP for my moving in present.
That's a class present.
Probably less awkward than asking your parents for leather as a moving in present.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, so that was it when we first had it, and then the one the one directly underneath it is when I'd got this addiction to live rock, as you can probably see, because for some reason, yeah,
that is a wall of rock.
Yeah,
all been there.
Yeah.
All been there.
Yeah. A wall of rock.
It looks really good though.
Really? Well,
yeah.
Can you imagine the sort of the bacteria and everything else in that?
Yeah.
That was.
I bet you loved it. Did you love it?
I bet that water was crystal clear as well.
I loved it enough to take a photograph of it back then. Yeah, I mean, what we got in there, yeah, you can see toadstool leathers, oh God, mushrooms, Monte Carp. In fact, yeah, a bit of Acan, yeah, a bit of everything. Because that's when you used to go to LFSs and you used to buy. I used to get, I mean, C-Store, not far from me, when Pete first opened, well, after he took it off Jock and go on, Darren Brown, they used to, he used to sell, I don't know whether you can get them now, but it would be a rock. It could be like a coral garden. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And it'd be a piece of live rock. I don't mean one of these man-made ceramic plates that people do it on now. Man-made rock. And it could have anything growing on it. And that was before orange glasses, believe it or not. The orange glasses didn't exist. You literally had to find things with your eyes, and look out for little things. And you might get one stray Zoa on it that might end up turning into a really expensive or, whatever Zoa. So, yeah, I used to buy these little coral gardens and I used to just wedge them, because it was a massive, I suppose, chunk of colour, like for a fairly good price back then. But yeah, they used to have mushrooms on them and Zoas on them and a few pallies, a few rogue pallies. And yeah, like Ron says, used to sit there at night and go, what's that? What's that? Just come out of that.
I love the coral gardens. I think my first coral garden, I got something like 30 corals on it and it was 40 quid.
Yeah.
I've still got some of the cabbage leather and things like that now.
Yeah. Coral gardens were brilliant back then. It's like you say, you got so much for your money and you could just see a massive injection of colour and life in your tank in one go. They were really good. And then I realised that more rock is not always better. So we rescaped the tank, I don't know, probably a year or so after. Just gave the rock away or probably binned it because it was just rock, didn't have an ounce of understanding of its value at the time. Rescaped it into sort of 2 sort of towers, because if you can remember, Ron, the only downside I will say about that tank was the height of it, and you knew I was going to go here. It is anybody that's had one of these tanks, unless you are basketball sort of player height, you need a stool, a step, a chair, whatever, to service it and touch the bottom of the tank. So it was an issue. Salty armpit on a regular basis. And the weir, because it was so central, well, it was central obviously, and so tall, you found yourself I didn't like the weir. I found myself sort of trying to create a skate that hid the weir. I'm sure that people have done this, covered it up, so you didn't have to see it. Anyway, we ended up with 2 towers, and then I ended up finding a piece of rock that in the bottom right corner, you see there's a stylo growing on it, growing there. And that was pretty much it until we moved to the house we're in now today, sort of a few years later.
Oh, just to go back, Tom, during this journey from top right down all the photos, had you started dosing by the time you got to the bottom right photo? Because obviously you've got SPS in there.
Yeah, so we did water changes, but I think again back then it was phosphate and nitrate. When I first got in the habit, was just a no. You shouldn't have them. You know, you want to do a titration test and it be gin clear on both pretty much parameters. I don't think there was much of a understanding as there is today back then with some of the shops as well in terms of what these nutrients and what these parameters should be and what they did and what impact it had. It was just a case of, no, you don't want that. Get it out your tank, you know. So to answer your question, the first dosing I did other than water changes was the Triton method, when the Triton method came out. So I chopped the baffle out of the sump in that tank, had a refusion, a bit of Cheeto in there. And that was what I ran. I started doing the ICP, got into the Triton, alkaline, it must be 8, blah, 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 you know, like tattooed on me somewhere, you know, and then I started chasing numbers and I started to have, I would say, the success of the tank fluctuated depending on how much I was chasing the numbers, which we all know today is not necessarily the right way to go about things.
So were you watching the BRS videos at this point by any chance?
No, I didn't do. So when I had this tank, I watched 0 YouTube. It was all LFS. It was all Saturdays. You know, I've still got some names and numbers from people that I've got into the hobby with, you know, 10, 15 years ago, whatever it is, who are still friends on Facebook, wish them happy birthday, but they've got out of the hobby years ago. But back then they were my soulmates, as it were, or my go-to to ask, you know, for advice, and they'd give you and that was when the Reefers Code really for me sat in. You know, there was none of this like, oh well, I'll give you a piece of that and I want 30 quid for it. It was have a piece of that and see you get on with it, you know. And then I'd have a piece, they'd go, oh, can I have a piece of your digi? Snap a bit, there you go, snap a bit off, there you go, go and try a bit of that. And that's how it was. One of the biggest issues I had with that tank, well, there were 2. I bought a bubble tip anemone because I always wanted a nem. I decided I wanted it in the back right hand corner of the tank for some reason. When I had that wall of rock, I don't know why I decided it was going there, but that's where I decided to put it. And then pretty much within the space of a week, it had walked across pretty much all of the tank and stung, I would say, a good 40-50% of the corals in that tank. And I didn't even know why it had moved. And then I believe it or not, I actually tried to take it off the rock with my bare hands. Don't know why I did that. And put it back where I wanted it, as if to say, no, you're going to live here. And, you know, anyway, but the main issue I had with that tank was I had a frag rack, 2 little fishes frag rack. And it was in there for years. And whenever I did a water change, because I couldn't get to the glass, I left the sides of the glass, I just did the front panel. I never took it off. And it was when we moved to, like I keep saying, the house we're in now, that I took the frag rack off and the magnets had completely gone inside the tank. So I'm not saying my water chemistry was great back then with my first system, but I don't think that would have been doing me any favors with some of the corals I was trying to keep at the time. But,
so it sounds to me, Tom, like you stuck with that tank and did a lot of learning with that, whereas a lot of us jumped ship.
Yeah.
And then so you took baffles out of the sump, you upgraded things and things. So you did a lot with tank 1.
Lighting started with the light that came with it, which we know was a built-in, you know, fluorescent fixture. And the one thing I didn't like about that was I didn't like how it was an on and off, if I remember rightly. It was literally just an on and off switch.
Yeah. No ramping,
no ramp up, ramp down. And C-Store at the time had got Radions in, disco lights, all these settings. You could do it from your mobile phone. I mean, wow, you know, this is technology.
Via Reef Link, though.
That is a swear word. That is a swear word.
I've got it in that cupboard, and when I get really angry at work, I just go and swear at the cupboard.
Yeah, this house was on 3. We had converted the loft, and the router for the internet was in the loft for some strange reason. And the amount of times I had to walk down up and down 2 flights of stairs with this Reef link. Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't go out the window. But no, we started with the T5, the fixture that came with it. Then we went to the Luminaire. We went to the TMC Luminaire because the Luminaire had just come out.
Interesting.
Went to the Luminaire. We went from the Luminaire to the Razor. Same
Nice. Okay, that is bizarre.
And then we went from the Razor to 2 Gen 2 XR30s on that tank. And I made my own little sort of fixture to sit them on. It was literally some sort of L bracket, sort of L-shaped sort of steel. Well, not steel, but I don't remember what it was. With some legs, and I literally sat them on it, and I loved it. I love that tank. It was great. I didn't mess around with the percentages of the lighting. Literally, it was just like ramp up, ramp down. That was it. That's all I did with it.
Loved it. On your first tank, you went from T5, TMC Luminaire, Max Spec
Razor, on Radeon. Yeah, 4.
That's unbelievable how much you did with your first tank.
Mate, it's a drug, innit? It was a drug. I was just literally like, yeah.
How long did it run for?
Ooh, we've been in here
6 weeks.
6 weeks. At least 6 years, I think, that tank. At least 5-6 year mark.
I think that's got to be almost verging on a record for somebody's first tank.
Yeah.
First tank, definitely. Yeah.
But to be fair, it's quite a decent size for a first Reef tank, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but what I will confess to is that house has a cellar, and I put a frag tank in the cellar because I'd got this bug. I was growing things, and I started to swap things with people. And I used to go down to my LFS, and you'd get like, I'll give you 10 quid store credit, and you walk it day after, and the map put 70 quid price tag on it. So I was like, I'm not taking it to my LFS. You know what I mean? I'll swap it with people. And that's when I started to go more social media aspect in terms of Facebook and, what was the other one? There were a couple of other sort of Aquarius Classified and things like that, where you'd literally list, you've got this, got that, and it was more a swap thing. Because as we know, it's most people would agree with me. It's an addiction, and it's like we just say like Pokemon. You want got to catch them all, want one or everything. So yeah, about 6 years. 6 years.
That's crazy.
Impressive.
That's really crazy.
Yeah. Skimmer on that we went. The TMC one that got thrown away, like we say, after about a week, straight onto the curve, which was great. Then I went to a NIOS one, which I wasn't that impressed with. I can't remember what it was. It might have been a 120 or something. I wasn't really impressed with that. I actually think the Bull Magus was just as good for half the price.
I agree.
And then I went Deltec. I think it was I can't remember, 14.
Same here.
Did you? Good Deltec, yeah.
Yeah, with the DC controller.
DC control, yeah. No,
I've still got mine.
Oh, I haven't got
it.
Mine.
Runs my ozone in the shop tank, because way back then, the entire skimmer was ozone friendly.
Yeah, and then I went with that. I'm trying to think what else I had. I don't even think we had a filter socks in that. I don't think we went with a roller mat. I don't think roller mats were about at the time. I think Clarity just come up with one, probably the first one. But about 6 years. But yeah, I rescaped it. One thing I did do with that tank, and since I'm confessing, is before the picture, obviously these are fairly nice pictures. Well, I thought they were, because I've taken them, was I emptied the tank. So I think I got an algae issue. So I emptied the tank completely of water, went down to the LFS, bought completely brand new water, put brand new water in, took all the rock out, put brand new water in, put half the fish in, and just killed everything. Because I did not know about bacteria and cycling and this. So plenty of mistakes made.
You just think new is good, don't you? Fresh water, new water.
Well, I just literally thought I'd reset it in my head. I was going to start again. And I started again with brand new water, synthetic water. It was no natural sea or anything. Then it was literally, yeah. And I don't even think I'd ran an ATO on that tank for a while. I think the first ATO, I just drew a line. And every morning before I went to work, I looked at the line. I was like, oh, tip it up.
That's exactly what I did.
Bit of tap water.
What salt were you using?
It was all I bought everything from the LFS. I didn't start mixing my own water. I don't.
Oh, you were buying salt water.
buying synthetic, buying salt from LFS. I don't think I started mixing my own water until I got my first custom tank, which was the one I went to after that, which was an 8-foot tank, 8x2x2. And that was literally due to cost. It pushed me in that direction, which I think it has with a lot of people. As soon as it starts getting expensive, buying it, and it's not just the buying it; it's lugging it around, isn't it? You know, the amount of times the car I had at the time, I can't remember what it was. I think I had some like Hyundai or something, and I'm going around a corner with like 200 litres of water, and the car's just literally feeling it. Like something off the Flintstones, you know, at the beginning, going around a corner like this. So. And then you get out and you open the boot and just water just starts, just doesn't matter how tight you've put the tops of those water barrels on, water's just flooding out. You'll open the boot. So, yeah.
Well, at least you put tops on yours.
Oh, God. Yeah. Wow. So yes, that was my first tank. Great tank. I would strongly recommend it for anybody for a first tank. I really would.
Marks out of 10, Tom.
I'm giving it a 9. I'm giving it a 9. I am.
Okay.
If it wasn't for the height, I'd give it a 10. For a beginner tank, I'd give it a 10 if it weren't for the height. And I think you're right. I think I was fortunate because I just waited for Salt Creep to help me with the leaks on the pipe work. I was just like, yeah, it's a bit of a leak. And if it drips, it's going in the sump. Where
do you hear that,
is.
Lee? Does Lee hear that?
Well, if it leaks, the water's going in where the water is anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, just let the Salt Creep do its thing. Anyway, but no, yes, that was me. Yeah, it was lovely.
Impressive,
Great.
Tom. Impressive.
Thank you. Right, let's jump in the chat. There's a few things I've missed down here. Oh, Drip is here. Morning, buddy. Oh, sorry, swear words. He's plastering. And Stefan's here. Morning, Stefan. Thanks for joining us. So back to what I said earlier. Anybody who's made any drunken purchases? So, Stefan, you had 8 Guinnesses, and 8 Guinnesses later, he bought a gem tank on Klarna. Still paying it off. Okay, nice one. Be interested to know how much you paid for it, but yeah, I think there's a few people who will have done that.
8 Guinnesses. That was some morning poo.
Lifting the scales with his big toe to save £5. Yeah, did it all wrong, Rob.
That wasn't his toe.
The thing that I couldn't get my head around at the time was some of the live rock had ended up costing more than the corals. Just like shiny, nice coral, big piece of rock. Which one do I buy? Anyway, right. Let's. TV calls Rondo. Did you leave the glass covers on the top or chuck them?
So I had my glass cover on mine. Yeah. Until I upgraded to the Razor, because the Razor obviously you couldn't have the lid, and the glass cover took too much of the power away. So
I had the black. There was black plastic covers, weren't there? If I remember rightly. Yeah,
and they were really floppy. You pulled it up in the middle, and they bent down at the ends. Yeah,
they did. Yeah, I threw mine away. That is for sure. Right, let's look at somebody else's entry this morning. I can't remember who we've talked about so far. Right, see these in the chat. Let's go to Drippy. So Ryland's Drippy's Reef first tank was Red Sea Reef 350. I asked him about a sump. He said, "Is that the other tank?" Didn't know what a sump was at the time or what it was called. Method. What is dosing? Don't know. So yeah, the answer to that was no. And stock wise, he used to buy, because obviously his local LFS is AAC. So he was spoilt at an early stage in his reefing hobby. He used to buy whatever he liked the look of, is what he said.
So, Drippy, how come the back of that tank is white or clear?
It doesn't look like it's got a backing on it, does it? Unless it's just
but they come with a backing from the factory.
Tear it off.
Did he rip it off?
Must have.
Might have done. Must have done.
I did on mine.
Ah, did you?
Yeah. That's what Josh's done.
I've got my
Gen 4 XR15s. Did you? Can you remember the blue ones you used to get?
Well, that's what my 7-foot 2x2. It was. It's got a blue background. I quite liked it.
Yeah, but there were some that I saw that had got. I don't know why you would do this, but they'd got pictures of the ocean as the backdrop.
Oh,
as the vinyl.
No.
Old school. That's really old school.
And
Oh,
what was worse was that some of them had like bubbled and blistered.
yeah.
So you've got like a fish that had got. You know,
Oh, Drippy
dear.
said it. So that Red Sea tanks came with blue backgrounds.
No, it didn't do. No, it wouldn't have done.
He says it
it
had a
had
blue background.
somebody would have put that on. I'm
Ah,
sure
Yeah.
somebody would have put that on. It wouldn't have come with a blue
okay.
one. His ex bought me this bundle as a surprise.
Is that why she's an ex?
I can't remember how long you had it for, Drip. So you'll have to put in the notes how long you had it for, how long you ran it for. Yeah. So I think Red Sea tank. I know they've had the bad press, haven't they, with the split seals and this, that, and the other, but they are a common first tank for most people, aren't they? In terms of a go-to brand. Okay. Love the Archers and the Caves, Jippy. Yeah, I went down not so long ago. I think it was beginning of the year. Went down to do a rescape with him. Yeah, that was fun. That was really fun.
Is this tank still going?
I don't know whether he's got that one or he's got a different one. In fact, no. Of course he has. He's got a 525 Gen 2. Sure he has. So yeah, he's moved on to kept with the Red Sea, raised it a little bit in terms of size, technology, and he bought one. I'm sure he bought it. Excuse me, brand new from AAC. All ribbon, all bells and whistles. So the one he's got now is brand new. But yeah, he's stuck with the Red Sea brand. I think it's a Gen 2 with the one he's got now from memory. But Drip, if you can hear me, mate, tell us how long you ran your first one for and what year that was. Because again, apologies, I've not asked you. But no. Nice little tank for your first day. It's got, what's he got? Fox face, couple of cleaner shrimps, sand, gravel.
He's saying he didn't have a clue about marines when she surprised him with it. So that sounds similar to me, except I did it intentionally.
Yeah. I mean, when my mum gave, because we used to have a tank at home, and my mum gave me a book, and it's Marine Fishes of the World. And I used to go through it most nights like a sado, sat in bed, and I'd fold all the corners of all the fish that I wanted to buy, and I'd go to the and then I'd go to the LFSs, and they just wouldn't have them. So we used to travel like the length and breadth of the UK, which I'm sure some people have in the years in the hobby. And you'd be like, "Oh my God, they've got one of those," you know, and you'd have to have it and take it home, and yeah. Anyway. First one he ran for 18 months. Thanks, mate. So the first one for 18 months. So he definitely got the itch, and then went out and bought a brand new one. Pretty similar to you, Ron.
Good lad.
Mm-hmm. He's asking there. Right. Okay. Who else we're going to talk about? Let's have a look. Did you even want a reef tank, or would you just accidentally get into the hobby? Well, the choice was made for him. One thing I do know about his first tank
accident
is that live rock had been going a long time, and the people that he bought it off, because it was secondhand from what I remember, he's told me before, and the people who his missus or whoever bought the tank for him, they'd kept put my teeth back in, they'd kept the rock going by keeping it with heaters and a power head and whatever to keep everything alive until he picked it up. So he was fortunate enough to inherit. He's putting here two big bins like a heater and power head for ages to keep it going. So yeah,
So they knew their stuff then.
Yeah, clearly.
Most people would be like, "It's just rock."
I know. It's in the garden next to the gnomes if you want to get it.
I was going to go down the garden route. That's where he's at. I found it in this guy's garden.
Yeah. But no, cheers for that, Drippy. Right then, let's have another look. What we on for? 25 minutes left. I'm sure there's got to be some other alcoholic blunders that people have ended up buying. Come on, there's only Stefan that's been honest enough here.
I think
got to be
an alcohol-fueled purchase is different from an alcoholic purchase. Okay.
Well, just saying from experience, there's got to be something else. All right, if nobody's going to own up to that, then what have you bought that as a, what would you say, impulse buy in reefing? An impulse buy, let's call it. So hopefully that opens up the audience to a few more stories. Right, I'm going to go straight in here and jump in with
question for both of you. obviously you had your first tanks. If there was one thing you'd have done differently that you think would have improved it, what would it have been?
Flow. Flow, we had to shadow it out. I did not have nowhere near the understanding of flow and that I do now back then.
Ron?
Stick of dynamite.
Would have blast all the rock apart.
That's what was missing. No, not to be totally and utterly lame, but I would say flow as well, because I didn't have corals. It was just a fish only with live rock to begin with. The lighting didn't matter, even though that was the first thing I upgraded was to a razor. made the purple rock look nice. But no, flow, definitely. It was just a high door or high gore, whatever you called it, a fluval thing on the other side, both pointing towards each other. And there was just, what do they call it? On BRS, they talked about a tang toilet, and there was one corner where the tangs would go. And there,
like a detritus trap.
Yeah, like a litter tray. It was disgusting. But then, you know, just like when your ashtray gets full in your car, you buy a new car.
Yeah. Oh dear. Fair enough. A couple more to look at now this morning, and thanks again for everybody who sent them in. So we're going to jump in with Nick's. Look at that beauty. So Nick's
Was he like spinning around when he took the picture?
Well, he'd probably had a few beers. That's probably why. He does like a drink, my man, Nick.
So
Nice to see you, Nick, if you're in the chat.
More than one blue tang in there, then? Two?
Yeah,
or is that
like
yellow-tailed damsel, maybe? I don't know.
There looks like is it Korean
Quran
angel? Quran angel, even?
Quran angel. Yeah,
don't know me fish me. Don't know. No.
I think that is a damsel on the left, Ron. You're right.
Yeah,
that's definitely it's a yellow-bellied one, the one in the middle as well.
It's like a humbug damsel on the left.
This is good fun.
Yeah.
Yellow tang staring straight at us.
And a gigantic lump of what looks like ocean rock in the middle.
One folder, isn't it?
Granite.
Fucking hell, it looks like it's come out of rockery.
Probably came with plants as well.
For it. The size of it.
Yeah, I bet the bottom, bet the base of that tank's screaming, "Get off me! Get off me!" Oh dear, I used to like those tanks. I used to see those tanks quite a lot when you went into LFSs. They'd always have one of those set up as a display.
Only ever is tropical in my memory.
Oh, really?
I've seen very few corner tanks as marine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So external filter, I'm assuming a canister filter of some kind on it. It was a dual Trigon, 190 litres.
Fuel was such a staple of the aquarium world, wasn't it?
Yeah. But the build quality, I really didn't like the build quality of some of them because they were so. Some of them later on that I used to see the white one, the gloss white ones that they came out with, they're so plasticky and like flimsy, and you thought, especially when we compare it with like the aqua ones and even Red Sea, I think to an extent, I don't think the quality was quite there. But
the cabinets weren't great, were they?
Cabinets would fall apart. They would delaminate. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the worst bit, delaminating it, and then you'd see somebody who tried to stick it back on themselves, and they've got fingerprints everywhere where the glue had just not.
Yeah, all the white super glue finger. Oh god, yeah.
Fucking and awful. The salt creep would it get into it?
Yep.
So you'd end up with like a stain.
Yep. Very pretty. Well, they were never meant for salt water. Am I wrong there?
I think you're right. They were tropical tanks, that people converted definitely into marine. But wow, yeah.
But no, looks okay. Looks okay.
Mm. Rob's saying that Stonehenge want that rock back.
The Spinal Tap version of Stonehenge.
Yes. Oh wow. Lee's saying his impulse buy was the 2-foot tank that he got that started in marine. It was an impulse buy. He wasn't planning on buying it. Don't know why you went to a fish shop in the first place if you weren't planning on buying anything, unless that was just part of your weekly social activities, just mixing with people, Lee. I don't know, but he's still coming away with a tank. But I'm glad he has, mate, because it's been. I'm sure it's been a hell of a journey for you, and long may it continue, mate. Okay, so that's Nick's. I think we've got one or two more. Let's have a look in here now. We've got Jack's. Jack. Let's have a look. So Jack first tank.
Oh, I like that.
Very nice.
Yes. Red Sea 170, obviously sumped. Weekly water changes, mixed reef, Gen 5, XR30 lighting.
I like the
don't know-
Instagram handle.
I'm doing it with everybody this morning. I'm doing it with everybody. Yeah,
No,
doing
I'm
it with
saying I
everybody,
like
mate.
it. I like.
Oh,
the
he's
play on
like it. Yeah, very clever. Sorry, very colourful. Yeah, it is.
So is that an MP40 and a Red Sea gyre?
Yes, it looks like it, doesn't it?
It's like it, mate. Yeah.
Oh, and he's got the RFGs on it as well.
Did you ever put a magnet for a power head in the weir box? Because I've never done it. Because I've always been put off. But I know people
yes.
do it.
I do now. I've got
Do
my
you?
gyre, my gyre on my frag tank. So I've got 2 MP40s on the end of the frag tank going underneath the racks, 2 on the back walls pushing forward, and then a gyre on the weir comb just below it, blowing laminate flow across the top of the racks. So yeah, the magnets in water.
Do you cover? Is it wrapped in anything? Is it just literally no nothing?
I sandwich bagged mine.
Sandwich bagged.
Double sandwich bagged, and then
is that what you move on to when after tea bags? You go on to sandwich bags. Is that the next?
Yeah, it's the next step up.
Oh dear! Now we do know what you get up to in your spare time, Joshua.
Sandwich bagging.
Oh dear! No, I've never done it. I've always had. I don't know. I've always had concerns that I'm going to end up with, magnets splitting or metals, etc. So
you've got metal in. You've got a magnet in one side of the tank anyway.
True.
The Tunze magnets are very, very, very well made. I wouldn't worry that much about putting a Tunze. They're very well sealed.
I mean, if you check it more often than you did your
tank
frag
looks
rack,
like that, you'd
be all right.
Fair one, cool, Mark. Yeah, I think a lot of time and effort's been put into that one. Very meticulous and very clean, like yours, though, Josh. I will give him that. So yeah, that's off. And very colourful for your first tank. Yes. Right then. So I think we are done for everybody's sending them in this morning. I don't think we've got any more to talk about. If I've missed you,
to everybody for doing it. That was brilliant.
Yeah, it definitely makes it interesting. I think that looks super nice, Jack. Yeah, it does, Jay. It does. Jay, you need to send yours in. Come on, send us a picture of yours when you first did it. If anybody else has got one, we've got 15 minutes. Throw it in to me on, like I say, on Instagram, and I'll throw it up here on the screen.
Do you want me to forward Rob's first tank, Tom?
Have you got one?
Yeah, I'll see if I can download it.
Oh,
forward.
What's this? 14 foot by 17 foot by no.
Just use the bath
with an arapimer in it or something.
There you go, Tom. Any chance you can slap that on the screen?
Let's have a look.
And I'm not joking. He has sent this to me during this chat and said, "My first tank."
Oh my God! Really? Right.
I am just passing on the media he sent me.
Let's have a look.
Getting the vibe, it might not be a fish tank.
Whatever gives you that impression, Josh. No, you don't spoil it, Josh.
Intuition.
Not to ruin the surprise, but it's not a urinal.
No, it's not actually. It's
no. Because they don't have plug holes to stop the water from flowing away. Other than big, thick spit and fagged outs and cakes. I'm just keeping the chat going, guys. I'm not going to fill the gap with anything sensible.
No. What was the biggest? To be fair to Josh, he asked a good question about the flow being the first. What would you change? What would be the biggest difference? I'd be interested to know what the viewers would say as well. As from your first tank, what was the biggest thing you changed from your second tank? I mean, mine was the height. I definitely wanted a just from a husbandry point of view, you know, to be able to access it. Definitely wanted something that was more accessible.
Rob's first tank looks like it's got really good flow, Tom.
Oh dear. Share screen. Right, hang on, I'll do this. Let's have a look.
Really isn't worth the hassle. I'm just going to.
No, I had to email it. I had to email it to myself.
The
That's the problem.
suspense is gone.
Really,
Yeah.
Everyone's just going to go. It was funny because it just popped up on my screen.
I'd have drilled it and fitted a sump.
Risky.
Would you have glued the pipe work though, Lee?
Oh dear.
I did debate drilling that Fluval Evo, to be fair, because I know Savage Reefer did it. He drilled his and put a little frag tank in underneath, and I thought, ooh, I might give that a go. And then realised I probably wouldn't be very good at it, so I didn't. But I'd have probably ended up breaking it. So I can't really afford to go and buy another tank if I cock this up, which I more than likely will. No, I'd already have.
I've seen it. I've seen what he's put. I've seen what he's put. I don't think I can drag it in. Can I drag it in? No. Well, let me drag and drop it in. You have to mess around with loading stuff up on here. So sorry.
Ron, hold your phone up to the screen.
Yes, that's the easiest way of doing it.
Right. It's really, really not worth it, guys.
Well, you started this.
Well, no, he sent it.
Yeah.
I assume it's a bathroom in an airport or his hotel.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
Anyway, 15 minutes left. What are we talking about? Any suggestions?
What have we got in the comments? Has anyone?
Well, a few people have commented what I've just said a second ago in terms of after your first tank, what did you sort of do differently or what did you change? I think a lot of it is going to be definitely what John's saying is knowledge. Knowledge is power. Learning things, reading things, watching things. Sunsy magnets could pull the moon closer, is what Ram was saying.
I think Ram and
I like that comment.
We're on the same page.
I like that comment. So look, I'm currently driving. Please don't ask Tom to slap anything on the screen again. Oh yeah, Liam went and got a shark. He went and bought a shark on his second tank. Yeah, that was on the Jolly Boys outing. And ironically, Ron, that was all Drippy's fault because he was pushing him.
What?
His influence. So we went on a tank. We went on a tour of a load of shops. I think we hit 7 in one day.
Wow.
Excuse me. And
was that during when all the shops had the event on at the same time?
It was when
it was like this.
Radical, when it was Radical, had the what did they call it? Aquafest or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. And Liam came back with a shark. Yeah,
nice.
A bamboo shark. Yes, and he calls it Bruce. Yeah.
You'd expect that.
Yes, and his missus wasn't very complimentary at the time, and he videoed. He took it in a poly box. He didn't walk in. Hello. He took it in a poly. He got it in a poly box, and the kids. He videoed it. And the kids just opening it up, and they're like, "It's a shark! It's a shark!" And then his missus just went sick. Yeah. And if you're watching Jazz, morning to you, hope you well, love. But yeah, it was entertaining, and she just put something on the group chat. Whichever dickhead told my bloke into getting a shark.
Which she wasn't impressed. I think if I brought a shark,
no. I think if it could have done the ironing, mate, and hoovered up, she'd have probably accepted it into her open arms. But yeah, he's had some fun with it.
Something and bring it home, and it can do the ironing and stuff. I think probably go to prison. To be fair.
Dear. What's he saying? Let's have a look now. So yeah, he's bought a shark. I think we talked about flow, but I think the Rockscape actually. You were talking about this on your Reef AF the other weekend, weren't we? We did that stream. Yeah, the Rockscape. I think companies flow very nicely. Rockscape.
Well, it's just that the big piles of rock don't really work for that, do they?
No, definitely not.
There is definitely something quite nice to look at about the piles of rock, though. As crazy as it sounds, you see all the wild designs that everyone does nowadays, but the one I've done now was basically made to resemble a piece of rock in the ocean, just a pile of rock. I think there is something quite enjoyable about them, quite natural looking.
Yeah, I would definitely try a more natural looking tank. Obviously, mine is so manufactured, just specific look I wanted. A really natural tank actually is quite appealing to me now. But flow would be tricky.
Was there anything on your first tanks from an equipment perspective that you thought was like good at the time? Because when I first had the first aqua one, not everybody ran a skimmer.
I never had a skimmer on my first one. It was literally just the return pump, a wave maker, and a heater, and that was all I had.
No, you didn't have an ATO, did you?
Yeah, oh, yeah, yes. Eventually, at first off, it was very similar to you, using a jug, pouring it in, and I've still got the same ATO now as I was using then.
Have you really?
It's almost, yeah. It was a second-hand ATO. It's it'll be well over 5 years old now. I've had to replace the pump once. But that pump's also sat in calc for about a year and a half, and it's still going.
And which ATO is it?
It was one of the, the Auto Aqua ones.
No, I don't know them.
I think it's just like an eBay purchase one. It came. I got it in a box. That was the box it came in. I don't even know if it definitely is that, but it's literally just the little light sensor thing, and then it goes down to the little junction boxing with the 2 plugs in, and that's it. Super simple.
Wow, that's a long time for something like that to work, because I'm osmolator on every system I have, and other than replacing a pump now and again, they've been absolutely rock solid.
They're quite noisy though, aren't they?
Not the new one.
Ah, that's good then. The old one I knew was, wasn't it? But yeah, I couldn't get over the fact that I replaced the pump once, and it's been solid since then. Absolutely solid. I literally was thinking yesterday, I'm waiting for this to go wrong. I'm going to Iceland at the end of October, and you can guarantee it's going to go wrong when I go to Iceland.
Yeah. Buy a spare now.
Right. I'm just going to try and upload this because our new friend Kumar has sent me some videos of his first tank. So you two just chat amongst yourselves, because I cannot, as everybody knows in the viewers, I cannot do 2 things, never mind 3 things at once. So just bear me 1 second. You two carry on.
What do you want to talk about, Josh? Do you want to talk about running shoes?
Just got a new pair, actually.
Oh, what'd you get? Go and get them. Go and get them.
He's got them on. He sleeps with them on.
Oh, he's got them on.
Nah, got the sliders on.
Oh,
dear.
What are you wearing today, Tom?
I'm barefooted, mate. If you really want to see my trotters, barefoot up here at the minute. Yeah, but you used to. Can you remember when you were? Well, I don't know that it was just me, but when you were a kid and you used to go and buy a brand new pair of trainers. Can I leave them on? Can I leave them on? Please, I want to leave them on.
Yeah, to leave the shop.
Put your old shoes in the box. Wear the new ones out the shop. Are we ready for the reveal?
Yes.
Go on then.
These are the new daily runners.
Oh, nice color.
Nice color. Very reefing related.
And then we've got the speed day interval training.
So
and then
interval training.
Interval training.
Okay.
And then the race day shoe.
Oh,
that's a Bobby Dazzler.
I like them.
Hey. Oof.
I'd wear them.
Can you just explain for somebody that doesn't exercise what the different shoes are used for, please?
So,
just so I know.
That's big, thick, dead soft, nice and bouncy and comfy, quite flexible.
And you wear
that
that
looks
for
after your joints. That's just like daily slow runs.
Okay.
Daily what runs?
Slow, like sort of slow speed.
Slow runs.
Yeah. This is like a speed. I'll go over this way. There you go. A speed shoe. So it's got, you can't quite see them, but there's some little rods in there, little fiberglass rods that make it a bit stiffer, so they're a bit more responsive when you run.
Do they make you run faster?
Yes.
Shut up.
Oh.
And hello. You bored of my shoes now?
Fuck off your shoes. Moving on.
I'm trying to add
This week on
Kumar's-
running shoes.
And then the last one, the carbon plated, really stiff.
Like-
And they make you, they genuinely do make you a lot faster.
They're making me stiff.
Oh dear. Right. So I think it's not gonna. I'm gonna have to drop these straight in. So it's not gonna let me pause. So this is Kumar. He sent pictures of his first attempt of a reef tank. Is what he's put here. Yeah, first attempt of a reef tank. So,
Ooh, is that
it's not Xenia. Wow, you're growing some aptasia there, Kumar.
wow?
When was that? Do you have to tell? Oh, that's better. Fox face. Wow.
It's, wow.
There we go. Yeah, what year was that? It was interesting to know how long you ran that for. Wow. Selling the aptasia, yeah, you can get some. Yes.
You could have an entire shoal of copper bands in there.
Rob's just put Bergia breeding experiments.
Yes.
Very much so. Very much so. So thanks for sending those in, Kumar. I appreciate it. I'm sure your tank doesn't look like that now. If you've still got one, if you've got an up-to-date tank shot, send it in. It'd be good to see it.
If it does, dynamite.
Yes, dynamite.
Grippy's commenting on your exercise habits, Tom.
So what's the fridge? 10 minutes to get a beer. 5 minutes actually. I've got it's an all-time record at the minute. 5 minutes.
Which shoes do you wear?
Which what? Sorry.
Which shoes do you wear? Do you have slow walking to the fridge shoes?
I have sticker shoes because they make me run quicker.
Sticker shoes.
You don't remember sticker shoes? Did you never have a pair of sticker shoes? Oh my god, I am so showing my age now. You didn't have Velcro shoes, sticker shoes.
Oh, Velcro, yeah.
Yeah,
Velcro
shoes. Sticker. They stick. Sorry, Velcro shoes. Velcro trainers. I do apologise for not my description being rather poor.
Just for the record, this tangent is not my fault.
No. Well, I mean, you did ask about the running shoes, actually, so yes, it is.
Well, he said...
Yeah,
I'm saying
You
my
guys chat amongst
running shoes
yourselves.
were Nike Terrors, brilliant shoe, 43 years ago. My dad used to wear Silver Shadow, high-tech Silver Shadow.
Ooh.
And he used to go for a run, high-tech Silver Shadow, and come back and he'd have this piece of equipment, and it was called
A penis pump.
no.
Hard to hide when you're wearing high-tech
dear.
jockey bombs.
I'm sure it was called. Oh, I'm gonna have to be careful what I say it. It was called a bulldog worker or something, like workout or something. Bulldog working.
No.
Don't take that in.
It was this piece of kit. It had like it was like I'm not no. Let's stop. This is not gonna end well. Let's stop.
It's going really well.
No. I'm sure it's called a bull worker. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it.
So is
Can't
it something
believe
you like squeeze?
Yes. Here we are. This was it. It was one of these, as if they're still going now. But it was like, let me share my screen.
You see it on the shopping channel.
At 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it was one of these things. With the wire and, well, not that, but yeah.
That looks
Anyway.
pretty complicated.
Look at that. Yeah.
Right, careful.
Yeah. Anyway. The thing that you squeezed together, Tom. Darren saying last day of tank transfer and second H20, then in MDT Wednesday. Happy Sunday. I'll catch up later. Hope you're well, Daz. All the best, mate. Hopefully you're going to be around at Coral, the thing at AAC at the end of this month. Be nice to catch up with you. Not seen you for a while. See? I had a bull worker.
It shows.
You can turn it also had a bull worker. So I'm glad I'm not meant to look like a weird. Well, I do look like a weirdo. Do that myself. Anyway, so we are up to the 2-hour mark. Thanks ever so much for everybody tuning in again on this Sunday. Yes, please go and enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoons, whatever people are doing, reefing related or not. I've got a lovely 300-litre water change to do this afternoon after I took the missus shopping and done a Sunday dinner. And I will see you at 3 o'clock, Ron, because you are doing what this afternoon?
We're doing a tank tour on Liam's new tank, Gil's Aquarium, on our Discord channel. So if anyone wants to come and actually join the Discord, and you can just get straight into the Zoom link and you can join in and ask as many questions as you like.
Yes, let's put Liam on the stool. Let's ask him some very interesting questions.
Who made you buy the shark?
Yes, who made you buy the shark? Yes. Josh, what are you up to this afternoon? Are you going running in one of your multiple pairs of trainers?
Slow day.
He's got
what would happen if you wore one on one foot and a different type on the other? Would one leg run quicker than the other, or would
run in circles?
Let's try it live. Let's do it now.
Running around in circles in the front room.
To be fair, you've got a wash to hang up, so you know.
Yes. Right, I will see you on the Discord, Ron, at 3 o'clock. Thank you ever so much for joining again, as always. Josh,
great fun.
Thank you very much. I hope that fire is not reigniting itself and you don't get called out again for a second go.
Well, I won't, because I'm finished now, so...
The fire engine's got another 2 hours to fill with our rope.
If it burns, it burns. Somebody else's problem. Okay, I like your style.
The fire engine was trashed after we drove to it, but yeah.
Oh, dear. Well, thank you everybody for joining in this Sunday stream. We'll see you all next week. Christian will be back on next week. And Rob, I hope you're having a great holiday and we'll see you again soon. All the best, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Take care.